Okay, before we do anything, I want you guys to go ahead and just cross this one off for me. Sorry, I didn't realize it had a sign of x over x in it. That is something we learn about after Unit 2. So, all right, now let's get to it. All right, so basically this last little thing that you have to be able to do with specifically piecewise functions, but also in general, is you have to remove discontinuities, or you have to determine what values would make your function continuous. Value or values, because sometimes you have to figure out two of them. And so the way that we do that is we think about, if we wanted our piecewise function to be continuous, we would have to have our point be defined, you would have to have your left-hand limit equal your right-hand limit, and then they would have to equal each other. But you want all of this to occur at your breaking point. So basically, I want everything to be equal when my x value is 2. And so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to set the pieces of my piecewise function together equal, and then I'm going to plug in 2, and then that will allow me to solve for what a has to be in order for this function to be continuous. So if I plug in 2, I get 8 equals 4a, which means that a would have to be 2 in order for this function to be continuous. And then you can test it afterwards, but basically what happens is, now if I plug in 2, if I actually find f of 2, I would get 8. And then my left-hand limit would also be 8. My right-hand limit, if a is 2, is also 8. And so then everything would be equal and your function would be continuous. All right, let's go ahead and try it with example 16. Again, we're skipping example 15. And this one we have to find a and b so that your function is continuous. And so basically with this one, we have to look at the two breaking points. So we're going to have two sections set up. So first, the breaking point of -1. I would like my top function to be equal to my middle function when x is -1. So if I have 2, I'll set that equal to ax plus b. And then I want that to be true at the breaking point of -1. So negative a, I guess, plus b. All right, so that's one of my equations I'll be dealing with. And then the other breaking point I have to look out for is that when x is 3, I need my middle function to equal my bottom function. So I would have -2 equals to ax plus b. But remember, this one was for the breaking point of -1. This one's going to be for the breaking point of 3. So now I'm going to plug in 3 over here. And this one's a little bit tricky because I actually technically will have a system of equations set up here now, right? So I have one equation that has an a and a b in it, and I have another equation that has a's and b's in it, so I can combine them. I think I'm going to use substitution, so I'm going to rewrite the first equation so that it's solved for b. So if I add the a over, it'd be 2 plus a. And then I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in for b in my second equation. So then I would get a -2 equals 3a plus 2 plus a. And so then really I'd get -4 equal to 4a. So that means a would have to be -1 in order for this function to be continuous. And then once I have a, I can find b using any of the other equations. So this one looks like it's most easily solved. So if a is -1, then that means this plus this means that b would have to be +1. So these would be the two values, a and b, such that my entire function would be continuous, even at its breaking points, okay? So that would be examples of where you have to make your function continuous. Basically, the strategy that I tell my students is just to make everything equal at the breaking points, okay? All right, thanks guys. Go ahead and try some practice on this.